literacy in the classrooms. I don't see anybody else on the literacy team in the audience.
There's a science.
Okay, so I'm the only one.
Yeah.
You guys should get somebody from the middle school so we can hang out. So what I'm going to do is basically, in my classroom, right now in my net phys kids, my 11th to 12th graders, we're doing sensory awareness. And so I'm going to share with you what I've done. I've gotten a lot away from textbooks. I'm using as many access to print resources outside of the textbook as possible. That's kind of my goal, is to try and develop as many things. Their weekend assignments, since they have a 4-day weekend, I kind of laid it on them. But we're talking about, we just finished up talking about the eyes and the ears. And now our next assignment for the weekend was on gustation, on sense of taste. So we're talking about some of the taste buds in the tongue. Basically, when I started this unit, Pete, you're going to be my Vanna. Will you pass that out for me, please? What I'm doing is I'm giving the kids kind of right to learn, and I'm giving them resources other than the textbook. So one of my resources that I gave my kids, I'm trying to put myself together this morning, was some physiology colorings. I have my kids coloring, and they actually kind of like it. So, like for example, the eyes, I had them read this little literature right here and take notes on it. They annotated and took notes, and then they get to color. Okay, and a lot of what's in that first initial reading is all right here. So the actual visuals are right here. So that was one resource. I also found videos on YouTube explaining the, in this particular instance, how the eyes focus. And I also, again, did give them a text section that they should have read. And I wanted to have them kind of put that data together into one, and they had to respond to one of the declarative or procedural questions that I have. What I did is I put all my stuff on the website, on SchoolFusion. Tate, you'll love me for this. I'm kind of still a Fusion rookie, but you see all my files are down here. And
I don't think you can have 20 files and call yourself a Fusion rookie.
all right, well.
Second that, absolutely.
So eyes optical function, the one you guys don't have optical function, you have application and transduction, but kind of going on what Ed was talking about. So here's their assignment. So I gave them a visual, and then I gave them, in this case, a procedural question to answer. Describe how light passes through the eyeball and how each structure of the eye contributes to our ability to see correctly. So I want them to break it down from structure and function, so anatomy and physiology. And I said, discuss possible problems that may arise with specific structures as your description makes its way from the cornea to the retina. So I wanted them to talk about things like stigmatisms. You know, I have astigmatism, several of them on my cornea, which are imperfections of the cornea which bend and refract light and they cause little fuzzy spots in certain parts of your vision. Talk about glaucoma, where there's pressure in the aqueous humor. All kinds of things. Cataracts. When we get older, we get cataracts, and it's the clouding of the lens. So basically what they had to do then is they had to formulate an answer without going verbatim right out of a textbook. They can't plagiarize. They had to put information, you know, together in thoughts. And I gave them 3 different resources to do that from. The beautiful part is that when they come back to class, they have to figure out. So at their table, each kid reads everybody's paper, or a little response. And what I had them do is I had them star the best one. So they had to come to an agreement on whose was the best one. And I gave that kid a perfect paper. I didn't even read their paper, I just gave them a perfect paper. Because their kids, their peers, thought that that was a really good paper. So I think they deserved it. And then what I had is I had, of probably 5 or 6 tables of kids, I had 3 kids stand up and share their star paper. I didn't read it, I had them share it. Now before I started this whole process, I did thinking about responding to an assignment. I taught them how I went through my thinking to come up with an answer for the first one. And now we've done 5 since, and they're getting better and better every time that they're doing it. Now, you know, a lot of this has to do, they're pulling information out of products, and they're formulating thoughts. I'm also teaching them a little bit of annotation. You know, going through some actual scientific literature and annotating and going along the way and putting those things together, putting together an outline. So your information sounds reasonable. It doesn't sound blotched together, you know, kind of like it's collage pasted together. And the kids have a little bit of responsibility in the sense, they come to class, fill out paper, they don't look the best, especially in a CITS, a college and schools class. Their peers will be like, oh, okay. You know, some of them might think, okay, my paper's got a better chance of getting the perfect paper, but most don't. They feel a little bit of pressure. So that's one thing that I did with them. And right now, I am doing an article with them over the weekend along the lines of senses. Vanna, will you do this for me? I know it's a lot of work for you, but you're a tennis coach. I'm having them read an article along with some of the other information. So I'm giving them another access to print out of a Scientific American. I spent my literacy dollars on 3 different magazines. I got Science, Science News, and Scientific American, and I can't believe, I mean, I'm putting little post-it notes in there for all my other teachers in the school saying, this article would be awesome in Polk's class about wolves, or, you know, Tyler could really use this in his chemistry class, or, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now about the cosmos. It's unreal in terms of the types of research that we're doing out in space. So they're reading this. Notice I shrunk it down. I went to about 90% so that they have room to do what? Annotate. Okay, kids, Andy Wolf does an awesome job of teaching kids how to annotate. I think he goes a little overboard with them. By the time they get to me, they hate doing it. But I'll tell you what, it's one of the best skills they could possibly learn. So my lesson essential question for yesterday was, under what circumstances do our senses collaborate to interpret sensory information? Because a lot of times kids take it separate senses, your eyes, your sense of smell, your sense of taste, and they say, okay, well, they work separately. They're all each individually working. Well, research has shown that that's really not that true. Okay, so what I have them do is they're going through and they're going to formulate, they're going to go through and they're going to find evidence from this article. And in a minute, I'm going to have you guys do a small activity. So their task was to find 3 pieces of evidence that suggest that our senses work together rather than separate. And then I'm going to have them share over the table. So just real quick with me, just to indulge me, so that we can kind of practice this. If you go to the 3rd page, under the heading Promiscuous Perception. Could you guys read that first thing right there? And annotate and try to, your task is right there. Find 3 pieces of evidence that suggest that our senses work together rather than separate.